is going to be. You can see there are so many workflow templates. So if you click on create workflow, we can either start from scratch or you can select from a recipe. So these are all basically going to be templates that have been pre-made. They have a lot of them. For example, a workflow to do a birthday promotion. So yeah, once it's someone's birthday, you can have a automation workflow be carried out. Let's go ahead and select this one. You can see what the trigger is, birthday reminder. It sends them an SMS. We can customize this and you can use something like this to use their first name. We can also add an attachment. We can send test SMSs, which I do recommend doing. And you can also see how many of these were delivered, how many people clicked. And yeah, this is a great way for beginners to really get started with these workflow automations because they're already built out for you. Once you sort of get the logic behind how these are built out, you can definitely create your own from scratch. As you can see, if you actually get a reply from them, there's a lot of logic that's built into high level. It can understand if the intent of the reply was positive or yes. And it can also know if they don't want the offer, right? So if it is positive, then you can send a positive message. This could be something like, here's a link to book a call with us. But if those conditions are not met, you can say something like, no worries.
So before I get into the nuts and bolts of how all of this works, I want to take you through the customer journey. Okay, so this is the website that we use. Now you'll see it says auto pay available. That is because this system is actually created to piggyback off of Yardbook. Okay, but the reason that you need an additional software is because you need to create your routes and things like that. And High Level does not yet have something that you can do that with, because this is the actual snapshot that I use for my business. Okay, so when it comes to do you have an enclosed area that needs mowed and the opening's greater than 55 inches, these are our criteria. So obviously if your client does not have the same criteria, then you want to go in and adjust that. Okay, so this is our form, and what they do is submit the form. Okay, now we have actually a missed call text back that's set up where if anyone even calls us, it just automatically sends a text message with the link to this. We actually do not do any phone calls at all for the lawn care business. It is solely set up just to use this quote request form. Okay, now once they submitted the quote request form, they're going to go to this page here. Okay, and then it just says thank you. It showcases our reviews again, and then it says we're working on your estimate now and we'll email you soon. Until then, if you have any questions, simply chat with us in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Okay, so obviously that web chat goes into our High Level account. All right, now the reason that we tell them we're going to give them a quote, and what happens is in the automation process, let me see if I can go out of here. Yeah, in the automation process, when someone submits a quote, okay, so we have the estimate requested, it triggers this automation. So here's the form. Okay, and then the first thing we want to do is tag them with estimate requested. Then what happens is it actually will send an email, and the email is actually going to the lawn care business owner. This is really set up. Most lawn care business owners did not set out to be digital marketers, and so a lot of times they don't want to really be bothered with all of the techie stuff. And so this is really set up to make it very, very simple for them. They could actually manage this whole thing on the mobile app if they really wanted to. Okay, so when the estimate is submitted, it's actually just sending them an email. The subject of the email is new estimate requested with a little icon that helps them to see it when it lands in their inbox. But basically what it's doing is it's taking all the questions from the form and then putting them into the email. All right. There's also instructions that say, now go to your dashboard and log in. And you'll see some custom values here that I'm going to walk you through in just a few minutes. But once you fill in the custom values, it's going to pre-fill in all of these things. And this is basically if you're giving them access to the dashboard, to manage their account, you want to add your dashboard URL link here, their email address, and then their password. So all of that is going to be inside of the custom values. Okay, so you're telling them, go to the contacts page, select the contact's name, look at the address to see which price you want to charge, and then tag the contact with $55 plan, $60 plan, or $65 plan. Now, that can, of course, vary, and that just depends on the area. We had 3 plans that made it very simple for us. We only did residential properties, and so this was our 3 the 3 plans that we chose. If your client or your business has different plans, obviously you just want to update the plans and then the tags so that you can choose the appropriate plan. Okay, so if you can't service this property, choose the tag called pass. Okay, so there's also another tag, and basically these are the 4 main tags that are going to be used. Okay, so pass meaning we can't do it, or one of the other plans, which means it's going to trigger those automations to send them the correct quote according to whatever tag. Okay, so an email with the correct info goes to them automatically. Now wait to see if they approve. So this is basically an SOP for the business owner to tell them what to do once they get a quote request. Okay, so what's cool is it's going to go to them every single time they get a quote request. Every single time they have their login credentials here and the link to the dashboard. It just makes it really, really simple. My husband loved this. Okay, so this is the email that goes to them. Now, what we also want to do is update the opportunity that we have, the opportunity pipeline. Now, we actually used our opportunity pipeline as more of kind of an SOP to ensure that we have managed all of the processes. And so we have here requested an estimate, and then it pre-fills in their name and the source that they came from. And then we're removing them from the workflow here. Okay, so when they have requested that estimate and you go to the opportunities tab, they're going to have a little card here that says request estimate. All right, now once that contact has been tagged with pass $65, or I'm sorry, not pass, but $65, $55, or $60, the card is going to automatically move to estimate sent. Okay, now when the estimate is sent to them, you're going to see these additional pages here. Actually, let me go here. $55, $60, and $65. Okay, so these are actually pre-built in estimates. All right, so you can see if we tagged that contact with the $55 tag, they're going to see here your price is $55. No contracts, cancel anytime, only pay when we mow. That's how we did our business. We also have our specific criteria here so they can see all of the terms and conditions, all of our reviews reviews or policies. So we're being very, very clear so that there are no expectations that we are not meeting. All of the terms and conditions, so that if we did have to charge or we had a rain delay, everyone knows what's going on. And then what they do is they simply enter in their email address and is a sticky contact. So when they open up their email will pre-fill in this box, and all they have to do is click here to accept the estimate. Okay, so just following along, what the business owner has done is gone to the the email, right? Or they've looked at the property, they go to the app, or they can log into the dashboard, however you want to do it. And then they just simply want to tag them, right? Now, I don't have this account set up. This is just for the snapshot, but all I would do is just choose one of these tags. Okay, so is this going to be a $55, $60, or $65 property? So I would just tag them. Now, when you tag them with the $65 plan, okay, we're going to go back to the automations, and you say, did I say 65 or 55? Okay, $55 plan. We go back to the automations and we go to the $55 plan automation. Okay, and you can see this is triggered by the tag that says $55 plan. What we're going to do now is we are going to send an email that says, here is the estimate you requested, and you'll see that it's a custom value because obviously your link, once the domain's connected, your link will be connected to your main website, right? And then it says and this is to the client, okay? So we're sharing this email to them and sharing the link. To approve, simply accept the terms and enter your email at the bottom of the page. The next steps, you'll receive an email with the link to store your preferred payment method on file. So we do require, before someone gets on our schedule, that they do enter a payment method on file, okay? So Once we have received the notification, that's when we go to Yardbook and we will send them the card to store their, or send them the link to store their preferred payment method on file. That's when we put them on our schedule that is in Yardbook. Just make sure we will not charge you anything until we service your lawn. However, we do need this to be added to our schedule. Please let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, so that's the email that gets sent to them when they receive their estimate. Now, we're also sending a text message to them and we're saying, we just sent you an email with the estimate. If you didn't receive it, make sure to check spam or promotions folder. Have a great day. This is 2 different ways of us contacting them to say, hey, we just sent you an estimate. Definitely let us know if you didn't get it. And then, you know, obviously if they prefer texting, then we open up that line of communication. Okay. Now, also here, we're changing the stage in the pipeline to estimate sent. Okay. That's automatically triggered when we tag. So it knows now we've sent the estimate. The lead value is $55 because this was the $55 plan. Okay. It's open, obviously, because they haven't accepted it. Then we're going to wait 14 days, and then it's going to remove the opportunity and it's going to remove from the workflow. Okay. Once Jane Doe receives that estimate and she enters her email, then it's going to trigger the estimate approved. Okay. Because she entered her email into the estimate approved. Once Jane Doe has approved the estimate, what's going to happen is she's going to go over here. Now, once we go to Yardbook and then we send her the link, what we're going to do is manually move that over there. Okay. Now, when Jane Doe has stored the credit card into the Yardbook link and we receive notification, what we're going to do is manually move that over here. And that way we know that all of these customers, everyone has been taken care of. They've all been added to our schedule and our route, and we don't need to do anything else with them. Now, we also have the chat bots here. Okay, so all of these chat bots, Facebook Messenger, call status, SMS, GMB, Instagram DM, and then the chat widget, they all go through the conditional logic here. So it's $55, $60, $65, right? So what it's doing is anytime someone contacts us, it is searching for one of these tags, because if it has one of these tags, we know that they are a customer or they've already received an estimate. Okay, so we're looking for those tags. If it includes the tags, we're going to send them a text message. Thank you for contacting us. Please feel free to reply to this text with your questions or concerns, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Also, we have thank you for contacting us. To request a quote for service, fill out the form below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then that is going to be the link to the website. Okay, whatever page they're requesting the estimate, which for us was the home page. Okay. And then you're signing it with your location name. So that's the same message if they contact us, Messenger, GMB, Instagram, and so on. Here, the next automation is the pass tag. Okay, so there are going to be times when a customer will submit a quote request and it does not meet your criteria for whatever reason. Maybe they need lawn aeration and you don't provide that. So I do kind of have a generic email here, an email template that I send out. The lawn care business owner just chooses pass, and then it will trigger the email to get sent to them, and it removes them from the opportunity. Okay.